Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Empire Life Monday Masterclass. We're with Abby Gooch, and she's an intuitive expert. And she guides women and men back to their intuition so they can make clear, centered, grounded choices and business decisions from that place. And I'll hand it over to you to intro yourself a little bit more.
All right. So yeah, like Allison said, I teach intuition. So I absolutely love it. I know it's my purpose in life. And I feel when we're all connected to our intuition, we are living our purpose. And it's a gift to be able to do that and to share it. So really, as far as, what your show is about, intuitive marketing, is it's really doing your business from that place, right? So the marketing is going to be guided by your intuition, which is ultimately going to be guided by love. So.
Yes. And something that was intuitively coming up for me is it seems there's a balance between staying in alignment and in our passion and centered while also scaling a business. Oh, you're right.
I thought I was
going to say is there, it can feel I feel like the audience and the community needs some guidance on staying out of burnout while also doing the things and feeling passionate and feeling energetic about the things. What are some of your, or maybe like your go-tos that you do to stay out of burnout and in the intuition and in your marketing and
So out of burnout, I don't know if you can avoid burnout. Sometimes you just feel burnout if you just are enjoying something so much that you just get tired, or if you're just tired in general. Like I was telling you before we went live, I was like, man, I feel really tired. But what I do to re-energize is to connect with my why, to my passion, right? To why I do what I do. So I think when you find that and you start taking action on things that you love, things that make you feel good, things that activate your passion, and remember that if you're doing your business because you love it, you're obviously passionate about it. So get back to your why, get back to your reason. For me, it's always helping people, right? Like helping people become more of who they are and express that and the love and the joy that that gives me. So to avoid burnout, like I said, sometimes I don't know anybody who hasn't ever experienced burnout. And if you haven't, great. But if you are, like, what you can do now is move back into that place of your passion and why you're doing what you're doing, and just find something you love. When you energize your heart, it's like the fuel for your car. It really is. So just get in that heart space and connect in, and see what's next.
Yes. Do you also feel to see maybe what we don't need to do? That's coming up for me. We may be thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do all these things on my to-do list. And when we, like you're talking about, get back into our heart space, there may be some things that can wait, or some other things come up that, oh, this is actually maybe a better path for me, like to remain open to those
Yeah.
paths.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to prioritize. I mean, like this morning, like my list is like, I have a workshop coming up, I have a summit coming up, like you and I got to talk, and clients. And it's like, okay, so what needs to happen in this moment? In this moment, I have certain things scheduled, meeting with certain people. Okay, I need to be present, and then tomorrow it's going to be like, okay, what didn't I get done today? I'll do tomorrow. So prioritize, right? So we think we have everything that we have to do now. The truth is there's only one thing that you actually can do at a time. You can multitask a little bit, right? But you're going to accomplish one thing at a time. So what's the top thing you need to do right now? Start there. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
true.
I'm a little different than a lot of people. I do the thing that feels best first. Like people, like, since I was a kid, are like, do what you don't want to do most. I'm like, no, I'd rather, like, have a tax person do the taxes, right? Like, I mean, it's just kind of like, do what you love and do what you love first. That's really how I work. Because then you're working from inspiration, not obligation.
That's a great point. Inspiration, not obligation. Yes. Sometimes, well, in this last week, I was able to set aside time to start redesigning some of our web pages internally and really think through the whole client journey. And it did ignite. I felt inspired to do that, and it ignited more of the passion of exactly what I'm in service and supporting my clients in, to walk through that journey and walk through other journeys that I've already had, and like what was it that I really supported them on, and get clear on all those different paths. And I think sometimes, well, I know I talked about that in another masterclass. I think it was with Miriam a few months ago, was that it's easier to take sometimes easier to take our coach's advice and not our own advice, or it's easier to give it and sometimes not take our own feedback. Because of course I would advise my clients to be very clear on their pathways or their offers. It's been a while since I've been able to have the time or set aside the time and ignite that passion again and bring the inspiration back into exactly what is it that I'm supporting my clients in, and clearly be able to articulate that. It's feeling really inspirational or grounding, for sure. My next blog I'm trying to write, we do one every Friday, and I'm aiming to write like a month's worth at a time and flowing into exactly what we're going to write about. And one of them is about how rejection is a gift. Now, I was feeling that was probably a really great topic to talk about too, because from what I've seen, a lot of some of the coaching messages that we see online, such as, you don't need to ever message people, or you don't need to tell people what you do. You don't need to be telling people what you do on your website or online. These are some messages that I've heard before from coaches. And sometimes I feel like those come from a place of there is a balance. There is a certain part about letting people come to you, of course, and being in the vibe. People can't come to us if they don't know like who we are or what we're doing, or that they don't hear us talking, and we have to be a lot of times talking a lot. We're talking 5 times online, and someone that's supposed to see us might see us one of those times and really connect with what we're saying. And so as we show up, like the more amplified we show up from the algorithms and everything, people are going to see us more. That just seems like a no-brainer. But I feel like that's coming from this fear of, what if they don't like my message, and I'll just let them come to me. And there's some fear of rejection in that. And in my article, my blog in a few weeks, I'm highlighting the areas of how to handle and redirect rejection and hearing no's, and to benefit us. And I was wondering if you want to talk to that a little bit. That's kind of on my mind, or it came up intuitively.
Yeah, so I think, Allison, what comes up for me to share is be your message. So I don't think worry about saying the right thing. If you're being it, it's going to be really transparent. And when you're transparent and authentic, people trust you. So I actually do think it's helpful to describe what you do. I mean, ultimately, people are going to hire you because they like you and they trust you and they want to work with you because they see you have value. That's why they pay you money. They know you have value to offer them, right? So, like I teach intuition. Okay, people value intuition. They value intuition in their lives. They see how it will make them have a better life. So for you, you do marketing. They value being effectively marketed. So, part of marketing is telling people what you do. But the key is being the vibration.
Exactly.
Being the energy, right?
Yeah. Yes. And when we do hear a no, what is your kind of like your go-to in your marketing or in your intuitive marketing?
When we what? When we do
when we hear no, like when it's not a good fit.
Oh.
Because Well, I mean, I personally feel that's a beautiful gift that it gives me a more clear picture of, okay, that's not my person.
Mhm,
Like I'm grateful
mhm.
that they said if it wasn't a good fit or they didn't quite resonate,
Right.
I can be in more alignment of exactly who do I want to attract. Or I might even be, if I'm able to fully release that and not take it personally, which I do feel like I'm at that level now, I can even go as far to say, oh, well, that's like, why do you feel that way? Or what was it that made you feel that way, if I want to explore it more?
Mhm,
Or if you're going to work with someone else, like what was it that made you say yes to be with them, if that's really my ideal client?
mhm,
If we're able to separate ourselves from it and look at it as that's
mhm,
something that's something that we can redirect into a learning experience, if we're
mhm.
able to kind of like release it. And okay, and also that leaves space, more space for the best fit of people to come in.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think you answered it really well. I mean, for me, it's usually pretty instant yeses, and then if it's not, then I do my best to let it go because I
Mm.
don't usually question it because it's usually such a knowing when it is the yes, and if it's not, then just let it go. Like I don't spend a whole lot of energy. Usually, I think one time, once or twice, I was like, huh, and then it was like, yeah, like I just don't. But I think to your point, like it does create space and maybe help you get clear. I mean, I know for me,
Mm.
I think all of my clients are already very intuitive. Like that's why they're attracted to it, right? So I kind of know my niche, like they're already pretty tuned in and they're like, hey, let's take it to the next level. Or they're experiencing a really intense, like internal challenge and they need to clear those blocks so they can feel more of their intuition and more of themselves. Um, but as far as looking at rejection as a gift, sure, I think it's a beautiful mindset to look at everything as a gift, and then to kind of pivot towards, okay, what does work, you know like that's just a great question. What does work, what is the right fit
Mm.
to that space?
Yes, definitely. And is anything coming up for you that you really want to mention to the community
No, not really.
also?
No, not really. I mean, not other than what I said. No, I mean, I think maybe the only other thing is like to then be, again, be what it is that you want to then attract that right fit. Like, I literally would have
Yes.
lists under my bed of like my clients, like, they trust me, like, they love me, they have huge positive results. And I'd like put it under my bed.
I love it. Yes.
So, like, it just works, you know?
It does. One of my mentors, well, I know maybe about 6 months ago, I was describing my ideal client, and they said, "Isn't that you? Isn't that like you? Maybe a year ago?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
yeah, totally.
Like that's what you're saying. I wasn't aware until that was pointed
Mhm.
out to me
Yeah,
that we are becoming who we want to attract, or
right.
who that vibe, that energy, the alignment, and then the actions that we're choosing to do in our lives every day.
Mhm. Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always say it's like two steps ahead to really be able to mentor or coach, guide someone. It's maybe two steps ahead, which might look like 6 months, or 6 months to a year
Yeah.
in results. How do you feel about that? Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, again, I just to keep it simple, it's like you have your list of what you want, how you want to feel, and then you're able to deliver what it is that you say you will, right? So whether
Mm,
you're ahead or behind or however you want to think about it, like the whole
yes.
point is that like you can help that person and they're helping you, right? Because it's a relationship. So
Yes.
um, I think just really putting your energy into how you want them to feel and how
Hmm.
you want to feel. And then it just, the vibrational match comes, you know?
Yes. And where would you say also that's like where you take each other? the areas of where you want to take each other? Is that similar
What
to
do you mean?
how you want to feel? Like somewhat like the vehicle of where you're going to take them or how you can guide them. I feel like that's connected in with how they want to feel too, with which areas or which blocks or which strategies
Mhm.
that are capable to give them to in 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 a sense to reach that point
Mhm.
of having those feelings.
Yeah, so you have like a process or a plan, right? So for me, like
Mm,
I teach a certification called intuitive success coaching. So there's an actual process. There's like 3 modules, step by step that you go through to get the result. For you, you do marketing. So there's an actual plan. Like this is the plan to get this result, right? So you just implement it. So absolutely, you're taking them on a journey. And as soon as you have one success, and actually you're your first success, right? Like, you have done your own marketing to be successful. I followed my own intuition to be successful. So
mm-hmm.
we become our own client first. Then we have at least one client, right? And they're like, oh, wow, it works. Like, I mean, I had one student when I opened the school, right? It's like, oh, that works. Cool. And then the next was like 11. So it's like, okay, you keep growing, right? So it's like baby steps of trusting. But it's like you're always, you're creating first the plan or the program, and then you're following it, and then you're inviting other people to follow it, right? And then it just grows. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Perfect. And if you want to add anything right now before we hop off, or how people can contact you.
Yeah, they can go to the site. So they can go to www.lifeforceconnection.com. You can find the link to the certification program I was talking about, sessions. You can book a free intro session with myself or one of our coaches and just feel what it feels like to be even more connected to your own intuition and see where that takes you.
Yes, definitely. Feels incredible. And for me, I'm at Allison RMSY on Instagram and Allison Ramsey on LinkedIn. And this is going to be on the Empire Life podcast, or if you are listening on the Empire Life podcast, and it's on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group that's for super successful and ambitious female founders, business owners that want to feel accepted, supported, following their intuition, heart centered, all rising together. It's an incredible community. And
I love it. Yeah, actually, I forgot. You can do Instagram too. I think it's under Life Force Connection. It's the same. Yeah.
oh, beautiful. Okay. Okay, great. Well, this is so amazing, Abby.
Well, thank you, Allison. It's always
Sure,
fun to.
we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.